You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the May 27th meeting for the LaPorte County Planning Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
We'll call this evening's meeting to order for Tuesday, May 27th. Jim, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Rita Beatty.
Present.
Steve Hollifield.
Present.
Harold Parker.
Present.
Jimmy Pressel.
Present.
John Carr.
Present.
John Matwood-Sean. Andy Chopacek.
Present.
Joe Tuholsky.
Present.
Eric Poynton. We have a quorum.
Thank you. I'd like to have a motion for the approval of the minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up. Approval for the agenda for this evening for May 27th.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, could I have a motion for approval of the last month's meeting minutes from April 22nd?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, we'll move on to petitions, which we have no petitions before us this evening. So we'll skip on down to old business, which we're going to have the discussion for changes to the solar ordinance draft that we have in hand. I'd just like to remind everyone that, excuse me, there will be no public comment for this discussion. This meeting is just for the discussion purposes, only for the board, for us to entertain our next, hopefully next month's meeting for public comment towards the solar ordinance. That is correct, right, Mr. Attorney?
That's right. Tonight, we are going to agree or disagree on the language that will be presented to the public for next month.
All right, thank you. And Ashley, could you go ahead and tell us what night that meeting will be, the date for the public comment that we're anticipating?
June 24th.
Okay, at 6 p.m. here in this location, please. Okay, we'll open up the discussion for the changes to the board.
Just a couple things, and it may have just been, wording or something. Page 5, under 4B,
Sorry.
it should say no more than two sides. Is that the way you'd look at it, Doug? Okay.
Can you define what that means?
It means if you've got four sides to a square piece of property, you can only have solar panels on two sides.
So you're saying they left out the word no?
No, yeah, no more. Like I said, the solar committee, we went through this county by county all across the state. There are counties that are far more restrictive than this, and some are lenient than this. And this is really what the people reached out and asked about wanting to have. So, and I also talked to several county commissioners across the state. None of them have been sued yet. Porter County went as far as to say no more solar, period, and they have not been sued or approached in 2 years.
I don't know if the stance of they haven't been sued yet is a great way to go.
Well,
I feel like, are we going to go line by line on what's changed? Is that how we do this tonight?
the red's the changes.
Right, I get that. So
Yeah.
that's I have a question on page 2, under solar energy systems, number 2, A2, where it caps at 2,400 acres.
Several counties have maximum percentages of their county. That's about 1% of the land.
Yep, so how many are we at already?
Well, 3,500, so that means they're done. And of RWE, there's no guarantee they're going through. I haven't heard anything out of them for 8-10 months. So, and if they pass if the Senate passes the budget bill as it went to them, there'll be no more solar tax credits or wind credits anywhere, and I seriously doubt they'll go, because during the hearing on House Bill 1628, they were questioned, several solar companies were questioned, will you do this without the subsidies? And when they gave a hem-haw answer, Representative Prensler reworded it to ask them, can you do this without the subsidies? And the comment from them was, if we raise the rates high enough, it will be profitable. So right off the bat, they know they want to raise the rates. So
what does this have to do with our ordinance?
we're changing the ordinance to make it a little more restrictive so the people in this county can keep living here.
So we're changing it to make it more restrictive?
Yes. And some other counties have way more restrictive ordinances than this.
Well, I'm not really concerned about the other counties. I'm concerned about LaPorte County.
Okay?
And, you know, we've gone through this solar ordinance for numerous years, and I'm just trying. I'm at a loss that you're going to put a cap at 2,400 acres. I mean, to me, that just doesn't seem sensible.
That's 1% of the farmland. Other counties have the same thing.
How much? What percentage of the farmland is that?
1%.
It's 1%, but we already have that.
So that's what
That's already in place.
I was just going to ask. So you said the 1% is already completely taken,
Yes.
is already locked up, so there would be no more.
If that RW's project goes through.
Oh,
I'm just going by what people have called, listened, other people had on the committee. We've been speaking with other people. You've heard them over the last year. The people don't want it. So we have to listen to the people.
So, I mean, you're saying 2,400 acres. What if somebody said, hey, no more than 2,400 acres of corn or soybeans? I mean, come on.
It's two different things.
They are.
They're industrial projects, not farmland.
But you start putting restrictions on one segment of it, then where's it going to stop?
Can I put 100,000 chickens or pigs next to your property?
What I'm saying is, if you're going to say you can't have more than 2,400 acres of solar, then where's it going to stop? Are you going to put conditions on corn, soybeans, anything else? I mean, is that what you're looking for?
I don't see a need for it. The people haven't said that.
okay. I just want to pause for a second. So just because I want to get this straight, we're talking the 2,400 acres, and you said that would be if the other company puts theirs in, then we would be totally locked up for the ground?
Yes.
So right now, what are we utilizing if we do not have this other one that comes in?
About 1.5%, 1.5%. There's about 240,000 acres of farmland in LaPorte County.
So what do you want to see as far as, obviously 2,400 acres is too much for you, right?
And some people, yes.
Okay, maybe I wrote that down wrong. So you said you'd like to see the 2,400, which is 1% of our acreage that
Yes.
we have now, but you said 1.5% of it was being utilized.
At the 3,500. That one, if the permit goes through, that was permits under the old ordinance, correct?
So that would be 3,500 acres,
Yes.
is what you're saying. Okay, got it. All right, thank you.
But that would take any other solar out of the question.
If they want to do it in an industrial area, I don't think there's a problem with that. Speaking with the people, we got KLP out there.
But then we've also heard from people out there too that are saying they prefer it to not be out there either, but I understand where you're talking about the
Yeah.
industrial area. Okay. All right. So I guess my question then while we're still on page 2 of 2 here that Jimmy brought up, with this being debatable up here between the commission, how do we move forward with what we're going to send to?
Can I make a motion to strike that language?
That's where I was going with it. Where do we?
I'll make a motion to strike that language. However, total land use in LaPorte County may not exceed a total of 2,400 acres of farmland in the county. Farmland should be defined as determined by the USDA Farm Services Agency. I make a motion to strike that.
So no limit?
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
Okay.
I'm not saying no limit. I'm just saying making a motion to strike the 2,400 acres.
He's just talking.
What are you
about
going to put in there?
the red?
You got an idea?
Hang on 1 second. Do we have a second on the motion?
So I'll second that for discussion.
Okay. So I'm gonna say, is there any discussion now? Thank you, Jimmy.
What are you going to put in? You just can't come up here and deny something and not have some kind of answer on the other side.
All right, I'll say 10,000 acres.
What percent is that of that?
You want a percentage? I'll go with 10% of LaPorte County farmland.
So it'd be about 4%. You got 10% LaPorte County farmland?
You want a percentage? That's what I'll throw.
Okay, then we're gonna look like Pulaski and Stark. Just an utter mess down there. 43,000 acres.
So with the discussion, the other option is what's in red is something that has been added. So currently we have large scale SES is a ground mounted SES occupies more than 45,000 square feet and will require a special exception. It could just be left as written like that without the red being entertained.
There's Eric.
Please let the record show that Eric Boynton has joined the meeting.
Good evening, Eric. We're having discussion on, I'm not sure if you have the ordinance laying down there
Did you get the copy of the new one
with the red.
in your packet? You didn't bring your packet. Okay.
I will share with
All right, thank you. Could you show him where we're at on here and what the discussion, Eric, we're discussing page 2, paragraph 2 at the bottom as to whether they would like to have the red stricken from the agenda with a new language incorporated into it. We're in discussion on that right now.
So, is this one on? There's no light, so.
Yes.
So the discussion is, you want to not include that?
Wants to go to 10% instead of 1.
The motion is that they would like to go to
Strike it first.
Strike it first.
strike it, and then now the motion, they're discussing to add 10,000 acres instead of the 2,400.
I thought you said 10%,
I'm sorry, 10%,
which
not
would be
10,000.
24,000 acres.
Oh, I even have that written down here.
Oh.
So would the motion be to remove it first?
Yeah.
Is that where we're at, right?
Yep.
Yeah, right now we're just in discussion of whether to remove it or to adjust.
So, is there a motion to remove it?
Yes.
with the-
Yes, there
Yes.
has been. You got anything, we've been discussing, you got anything discussed to it?
I'm not in favor of 10%, no.
Do you have any discussion that you'd like to add?
No, I guess we all had this email a month ago. We could have discussed it then.
Got to be discussed in the meeting.
I'll say that's why we're here this evening, is to discuss what we're going to possibly forward.
I mean, there could be a happy medium. 24, I mean, we had on record of 3,300 acres already, so 24 is under that, obviously, which would strike any and all future.
I think we have to vote to strike it first, correct? Yeah, so we need to have a vote on that motion.
Once we're done with discussion.
Well, we can make it into a motion with it.
Do it all at once?
On it, that that's what we think.
Amend
Okay.
the motion.
Is that okay? Okay.
Eric, do you have something that you'd like to amend to the motion, or?
Isn't it his motion
Oh,
now?
yeah, we'll discuss what he'd like him
Go
to.
off of what he wants to do as his motion.
No, I mean, it was a motion and second. I mean,
So that's only farm ground, so they could still put on industrial zone ground correctly.
this is just to strike the
This is
language.
just on farm ground.
Yeah, just to strike the
Yeah.
language.
On
So we have to
farm.
vote, we have to vote on striking the language.
Total.
So you can take a vote.
I was going to see if Eric, did you have any further discussion?
No.
Okay, thank
We're
you.
gonna vote on striking it
All right,
first.
so we will take a motion on striking the red wording from page 2, paragraph 2. as the motion is stated to remove that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
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 Okay, could we do a roll call, please, for the removal of the red?
Rita Beatty.
We're going to say yay to remove and nay to not remove. So I'm going to go with yay.
Steve.
Nay.
Joe Tuholsky. Jimmy Pressel.
Yay.
John Carr.
Yay.
Eric Poynton.
Nay.
Andy Chilpachik.
Nay.
John Matwishin.
Yay.
Harold Parker.
Nay.
All right, the nays have it, so it will remain as indicated on here. So now I guess my question is, can we go back and still discuss number 2 if somebody would like to amend the percentage on there, since we're not removing it? Is that still up for discussion?
Yeah. Everything's up for
Okay.
discussion.
All right, just wanted to make sure that that was an option.
Page 2, item 2.
If not, we can move forward.
Doesn't say anything about percentage.
Well, it's got the 2,400 acres of farm ground.
Okay, that's what's written, 2,400 is not a percent yet.
Correct.
No.
Correct, yeah.
So you're gonna restate
It
it
is,
as
one-
a
it is,
percent?
it is 1%. So I make a motion that instead of 24 acres, we use 1%, because that could fluctuate every year to year. That could fluctuate year to year by what the USDA comes up with. They'll know a figure in July, basically, when certification's done.
All right, so we have a motion to change the wording to 1% versus the acreage amount. Is there a second for the motion? Hearing none? Well, so the motion denies then.
Leave it like it is.
All right, so as it sounds right now, paragraph 2, page 2 is going to remain with the changes to move forward with that one. Okay. Any other discussion on any of the other changes that have been addressed?
Just that page 5 4A or 4B will not be more than 2 sides. We've already got one lady that's got it on 4 sides of hers and several got 3 sides. And other counties have prohibited it from being more than even 1, and if it goes to 2, it's an even bigger restriction for setbacks.
Is that a motion, Steve?
Yeah, just to add that word, no more than 2 sides. I think that's just a grammatical or, yeah.
Do we need a motion for that, for the grammatical?
Can't hurt. I mean, we're changing it, so let's make sure everybody agrees.
All right. Is there a second to the motion to add the word no?
I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we'll add the word no on page 5, paragraph 2. Any other discussion?
The electrical interference on 9 under P for the stray voltage. I got one dairy farmer. Stray voltage is terrible nuisance for dairy farms in particular. Farms in Michigan fought it years ago. We had one neighboring farmer, LaPorte County, to fight it about 25 years ago. The question I got on there, will that remain a civil thing, or will the county help enforce that if stray voltage is found?
I think the county can enforce that.
Enforce that? Okay.
Yeah. Through the building department.
Okay.
Good to know.
And here's another one that Harold talked to me. Harold, you want to explain about the mesh that you saw and the fencing that'd be under K on page 8?
I was going to the dairy farm on 65 for a wedding, and I was going down 10 where there's abundant part of solar. And one side of the road had a mesh put in the security fence, a darkening mesh where you couldn't see in there, and the other side was open with trees, just both of them had trees. The darkening agent seemed to work very well for cosmetic reasons, no other reasons that it had It just dampened the feel of the,
Spirits of you.
yeah, there wasn't no glare off the, it was a sunny day, there was no glare off those panels where you had a little glare off, shiny.
Trees take a long time to grow, so this will help.
Well, if they put a tree too large, they're gonna cut it down, because that's part of their competition, so it's gotta be a bush, not a tree anyway, but I'm just saying, I don't know how much that would add to it, but that, I just mentioned, my wife mentioned how much better and nicer it looked compared to, it was right down. That's not a make or break it thing, it just looked better.
Is that a motion you'd like to add to paragraph K?
I don't know what the cost is.
The maintenance.
I don't know what the cost is of that fencing, nobody's, it just, you go down and see it, it's plain as day, glare on one side, not on the other. So, it was the middle of the afternoon, about 2 o'clock, so.
I'd second that, to add that.
Okay.
Are we gonna say
Yeah,
for
but
all
what-
projects or like
What language
major-
are we adding exactly?
Boy, that'd be hot. That's your category.
It's a mesh that hangs on a fence. Google it.
I'll Google it. I'll figure something out.
Do you want to say for everything or for like along just highways?
Along the roads.
Road frontage?
No glare, doesn't. Yeah.
What's not heavily traveled? I haven't found that road yet. If I'm on there, that means it's heavily traveled.
Well, I don't know what that one road is, but it's a dirt road by Ekovich's. I mean, which is the
Well, that won't be
project-
long, because
project area. So
dust is in the air and it covers the solar, so they'll find a way to pave it or oil it or something.
that's true.
What do we say, like prime entrance frontage, road frontage, prime, I'm not sure what you guys want to call it.
A road.
So on any road?
Road. I was in Bremen the other day, and that one on 6, if you're coming, it was in the morning, so coming back westbound, there was glares and glints coming off those there on the north side of 6.
How about
The sun heads
visible-
eastbound's pretty
visible
treacherous,
from
too.
a roadway? How's
It's
that?
on a fronting roadway?
Visible from a roadway.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, would someone like to read back that motion?
Yeah.
So we're going to say something like,
A glare reducing mesh hanging on the fence on a visible from the roadway. That sound about right, Doug?
Yeah, I'm going to try to find a better term for that.
For the meshing?
Yeah, I'll get something a little more fancy.
They also got it at the Beavis.
I've never been there.
Of course Harold would know that.
Them Farm Bureau trips go everywhere, don't they?
okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Doug.
And then we got the one enforced on P on page 9.
Yeah, about that, Madam President, I'm gonna ask about the enforcement, because of course it's gonna be me that enforces
Wide
it.
open, correct?
If there's a problem, one party is gonna say there is not stray voltage, one party's gonna say there is. Who is gonna make that determination before I enforce it? My electrical inspector that may or may not have the equipment to do so?
In the past, what they did in Michigan and even down here, it was up to the dairy farmer to say, hey, here's your test meters and everything else. And they got with the, well, the one was NIPSCO, and they had I&M up there in Michigan. They were using actual real electricity up there, though.
Was there a third party involved in making a determination to report to the building
I would
department?
have to ask.
Okay, this maybe doesn't have to do with the actual ordinance, but for a protocol or an SOP for enforcement. I would like some
Right.
language that tells me the steps that I need to take, so I don't get in the middle wearing a referee shirt and a whistle, trying to figure out how
a
to.
third party to say, hey, we found this, and it is, okay.
And you know what else that's going to do? It's going to eliminate the county out of the mud and out of specific liability, and it's going to
Oh,
make my
okay,
job
I can see
easier.
that.
Okay, so we need to say something like the complainant needs to have provided by a third party.
With
So it's their
third-party
expense
verification.
also.
Yeah.
So it becomes their expense also.
Yeah, I got no
And what
problem.
kind of third party you're looking at? Who would be the third party?
Well, electrical inspector, I would imagine. Like I said, I can find out, I can call the guys tomorrow. see who they
Qualified third
did.
party.
Yeah, I can ask the guys tomorrow who they use and how they came to that.
Okay. One other question, not related to paragraph P, but Porter County, I believe they rescinded their ordinance. I don't know that that outlaws it completely. It just rescinded the ordinance that was on the books, which then triggers an alternate process, which is probably a special exception or use variance. I'm curious if that could be clarified by somebody in here, so
When Biggs and I talked about it, commissioner over there, he just said they took it off the books, is all he told me. So I don't know.
You'll get back to me on that. Okay. Thanks.
It's all up to the lawyers then, isn't it? They bring it to suit or something.
Okay, any other discussion on any of the other?
Yep, so on page 1 for Doug, do we need to remove the last whereas? 'Cause this will pretty much take us out of the Soul Smart Gold status then, right?
That's right.
I think we were pretty much out of that already because we weren't following Purdue's recommendations.
We were
Last
close.
ordinance.
We were close. We had, I don't know, 3 or 4 tweaks, and it would have complied.
The only other question that I had then.
What is that
page-
Soul Smart Gold status? Just so for people that aren't familiar with it.
It's if we allow them to do whatever Purdue says they can. It opens the possibility if an organization is meant down there for $1 per kilowatt.
Right, but that money goes to LaPorte County. There are some
Goes to the feds to the
restrictions.
state up to here.
Yeah.
And right now, there's no office in the feds or the state to even look
So,
at that.
Right.
like, that RWE project, would that qualify under the Soul Smart's gold status?
We've got the statute, our solar ordinance has to comply with the state statute.
And at the time, did it comply with the state statute when that was approved?
It doesn't matter. This has to comply, not their project necessarily.
So we don't comply for that project, but if we did, how much would that generate for the county?
I think we figured about 800,000 a year, approximately. Mitch figured it out for me.
It was a while ago.
For how many years?
It's a 10-year,
10 years?
800,000 times 10, whatever,
That's what, 8 million over 10 years?
potentially.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, page 9, is that 9? No, 11. Under E, it says, if all costs associated with such removal, including attorney's fees and court costs, will be assessed to the owner, what if they don't have enough of a bond to cover the cost and removal of all this product? The taxpayer shouldn't have to front that. I think the owner of the land should have to take care of that.
Well, we're going to have a decommissioning agreement.
Yeah, okay,
anyway.
decommission, okay, so we can add that into that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
We set it up to where you have the decommissioning agreement,
Yep.
the road use
Road use,
agreement.
yep.
That gives you a lot more flexibility because we can't expect all the contingencies just in the ordinance itself. So
Okay.
the county commissioners have more latitude with that.
On the decommissioning road, yeah, they rolled up the road one already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I had notes written down for the setbacks with question marks. I know there was a couple questions regarding that, which kind of pretty much,
What page you on?
sorry, page 5, paragraph 4. That it almost, even like when we're talking about, industrial and things like that, if we have this 1 mile from waterways or defined wetlands, how is that going to come into play for the industrial park? I mean, there's tons of wetlands out there.
If it's zoned industrial, I think that's what changed in the plan, comp plan, Mitch? If it's zoned industrial, that would change the requirements on the setbacks?
That's up to that.
Give him a mic, please.
We could do that.
The ordinance is a policy plan. Regulatory is right here.
Okay.
So any changes would have to be reflective in your zoning ordinance.
Okay.
In the zoning ordinance, by the way, I noticed, it is large scale, it's permitted industrial, but then you have that 1% cap. It doesn't differentiate between ag and industrial. So
Isn't that where the special exception comes in?
right now it's on page 3. It's ground mounted. Oh, it is. Okay, that's special exception. No, industrial, it's permitted. It's permitted. So if you take 1%, and that's over all our land uses, you know, it's permitted industrial, but that's over industrial and ag, how I read this.
On the permitted?
Yeah.
Under industrial?
Yeah.
But ag land's not zoned industrial.
No. But how it reads, I could be wrong, is it's 1% over.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's
type-
not specified.
It's not specified as 1% just ag. It's specified 1% in the whole county.
Over all land uses.
Okay, then should we reword that to say just agricultural land?
I would, because it could be R1B and it could be ag use.
It could be reworded to zoning other than industrial.
Yeah, cap on all zoning except industrial.
Except industrial. 'Cause like I said, that's the reason we got KOP out there. We're trying to push that.
It is permitted.
Under industrial.
I don't think it's realistically that they're going to go out to KLP. I mean, you see what they're selling the acreage for.
Right.
Doesn't make, it's not financially feasible for them to go to KIP.
Okay.
So,
But yeah, so that was my concern with the wetlands, because I know there's a lot of that out there.
Never know.
yeah, true.
Right? Land is always up.
Get about Randall and Kingsbury and change the dynamics of it.
Okay, any other discussion? Alright. Okay, so at this point, Doug, I guess we have kind of discussed as much as needs to be for this evening to clarify and put everything together then for a possible public comment next month.
Yeah, I can make the changes. I'll get them to Ashley. She'll put them on the website.
Do we make a motion right now to accept this as amended?
As amended, yeah.
As amended.
Well, you make a motion to proceed to the
Make a
public
motion
hearing.
that we proceed to the public hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. So we'll proceed to the June meeting to have a public hearing with the changes as discussed this evening. All right, thank you all.
June 24th.
Is that June 24th?
6 p.m. here.
6 p.m. here.
Which
Oh, reserved. Well, you've already got the meeting room reserved for that night, correct? Okay.
That's our normal plan commission meeting evening anyway, so.
One thing that I'd like to add now under old business is until this public hearing is held, I'd like to make a motion that we approve a 1-year moratorium and re-examine it in 6 months. There's 72 out of 92 counties have put moratoriums in place. It's not stopping any project.
You're going to need a public hearing on that, too.
On that one, too? Can we do the same meeting, same night?
Yep.
Okay, we met the same night, we had a moratorium to that also.
I was just gonna say, do we need a
gotta be
motion
voted
to
on?
add, to discuss a moratorium for our June
Yes.
24th meeting?
So do we have a second for discussion?
Is there a second for anybody that would like to continue with the motion?
We need a second for,
Discussion.
To discuss
It, and then we proceed to a vote, but we don't, if it doesn't have a second, we can't discuss it and it dies.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion to add a moratorium to the agenda for the June 24th meeting?
You know, the last time we talked about a moratorium, everybody thinks it's killing everything. It's not. It's just getting the chance for the people to become heard, and to make sure this ordinance is in place, so that way tomorrow they don't slip in like, say, RWE did, and have to follow one of the old ordinance. Correct, Doug?
That's right.
Yeah.
So did we vote on a moratorium a couple months ago?
We voted twice so far. First one was 9-0 and the other one was 5-4 or 5-3. Like I said, but we can bring this up every meeting if we want.
So as long as you change the board to how you see fit,
I
then
don't
can
think
bring
we
it up.
did that. I don't think we did that.
No, I think that's exactly what you did.
We put one person on.
Okay, so what we're discussing is even just to add it to the agenda to have it on discussion for the June meeting.
You would have to draft it.
Solar's not the boogeyman, Steve.
Okay, so we need
People's
to.
property rights shouldn't be
Okay.
infringed on.
all right,
Boogeyman,
all right,
so-
Hang on, guys. We're going to discuss, go ahead again, Ashley or Doug, please inform us of what we're,
Well, we've got to publish what it is, because there's all different formats. So you can vote to instruct me to draft to be presented at the next meeting.
For the public hearing. Then the public could actually come out and say they don't want it, correct?
Right.
Okay, just like the ordinance here, they can say they don't want this
I think
ordinance.
it's absolutely redundant. We're going to have a public hearing next month.
Okay.
If the planning commission votes yes on this ordinance, it's going to the commissioners the following week.
Okay,
So I think it's really not, if we didn't have an ordinance at all, yes, I would say we need it. But starting next month, by the time you get that moratorium in place, we're probably going to have this thing passed anyway.
okay.
Hey, I got a question. Mitch, has there been anybody interested in any solar farms recently?
Recently, I haven't received any more data centers than anything.
Data centers?
Data centers. More interest in those right now.
Yeah.
Solar, personally, anything with solar farms. There was Innovatus from South Bend sniffing around. But other than that, no.
Solar's kind of died on the vine, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, without the subsidies, they can't function.
so we have a motion and a second to add to the agenda next month, which we've kind of been explained a little bit more detail. So we still need to take a vote on the motion, whether to add it to the agenda. So all those in favor of adding the moratorium discussion to the agenda for next month signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, let's do a roll call for nays and yeses to add to the moratorium.
Rita,
No?
Steve,
Yes.
Joe Tuhalski,
Yes.
Jimmy Pressel,
Nay.
John Carr,
No.
Eric Poynton,
Aye.
Andy Chilpatrick,
Nay.
John Matwishin,
Nay.
Harold Parker.
Aye.
The nays have it.
All right. So we will not add the moratorium discussion to the next month's plan agenda. Okay. Any other old business? New business? Okay.
I don't think we have any.
Motion for a meeting to adjourn?
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion adjourned. Thank you all for your
Thanks for
time.
coming out there, folks.